October 11th, 2018, early morning in Kazakhstan. Two astronauts, Alexei Ovchiny and Nick Hagel, are headed to the International Space Station with the Soyuz MS-10. Going to space is both of their childhood dream, but what they did not know is that by the end of the day, none of them will reach space. Since many of you guys have asked me to cover this incident, and many other YouTube channels has already covered it, I will approach it from a different perspective, from the perspective of the International Space Station, because this incident will have a very broad implications on the operation of ISS. I'm Lei. Let's talk about it today. And thanks to CuriosityStream for supporting this episode. More about it later. The International Space Station is a very costly but necessary endeavor. It is the most expensive R&D facility in the world, testing, observing, and making things in space. Its main purpose is to serve as a staging base for future missions to the Moon or Mars. We want to make sure that human bodies are ready for prolonged travels in space despite radiations from the sun and muscle loss due to microgravity. In fact, under NASA's project Journey to Mars, experiments in the International Space Station is only the first step. After successfully testing and confirming that human astronauts can stay for a long period of time in space, NASA will build a second International Space Station called the Deep Space Gateway, orbiting our moon. Following the moon station, the last step is to send human expeditions to Mars. Starting with the International Space Station, ends on Mars. Without the experiments in the station and knowing that our astronauts are safe in the deep space, Mars colonization suggested by Elon Musk simply won't be a possibility. This is how important ISS is. However, International Space Station can't do the experiments by itself. It needs people to do it. This is where the Soyuz rocket comes in and where the problem of the International Space Station starts. After the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011, Soyuz rocket has become the only reliable rockets that could safely send our astronauts to the International Space Station. Comparing to its American counterpart, the Space Shuttle, Soyuz has a much safer track record. Although Soyuz has a 3-stage orbit design with 4 boosters, 1 core stage, and a 3rd stage, it is nevertheless safe, thanks to its launch abort system. Soyuz has not caused any fatality since 1971, and it hasn't seen a crewed launch failure since 1983. Even during the Soyuz failure in 1983, when a Soyuz rocket caught fire before launch, those cosmonauts safely aborted and were unharmed. In comparison, the incident on October 11th was different. MS-10 is already in sky before its first stage separation allegedly failed and caused its center booster to disintegrate and eventually the rocket to lose its acceleration. Once the Soyuz detected failure, the same launch abort system was automatically activated and 2 astronauts were taken away from the failing rocket and landed back on Earth safely. Many people tend to focus on the ballistic trajectory those 2 astronauts experienced during their descent, but now we know from Hagel himself that the ballistic part of the landing only lasted a few seconds, so it's nothing they can't handle. Both astronauts are in good conditions. However, a deeper crisis looms large. Every 3 months, there is an expedition headed International Space Station with 2 to 3 astronauts. They usually spend the first 3 months with members of the previous expedition and last 3 months with members of the next expedition. This makes sure that International Space Station always has a peaceful transition between expeditions and there are always engineers in the station. But with the failure of MS-10, all of this is on hold indefinitely. The expedition before Nick and Alexei started 3 months ago and are about to end in December. But as far as we know, Soyuz might not be ready on time to replace those astronauts. Does it mean our astronauts in the station right now are completely stranded? No, they can come back anytime. Their return capsule is with them in the station ready to go. Does it mean then our astronauts will be out of water and food soon? Not that either. Only manned missions to the International Space Station is affected. Resupply missions are doing just fine. In fact, SpaceX CRS-16 is scheduled to fly this coming November. So the real danger here is leaving ISS without crew. For the past 20 years, there has never been a period where the International Space Station is unoccupied. Engineers should always be present in the station to fix problems before problems get worse. The air leak and oxygen generator failure in 2004, the computer failure in 2007, ISS near collision with space debris in 2011. All of these problems were mitigated because of the collaborations between engineers on the ground and in the station. If such failure happens when there are no human engineers in the station, we might be in danger of losing the entire International Space Station. This is not the consequences we want, but with the failure of MS-10, this possibility threatens. Former NASA astronauts Leroy Chow painted a grim picture for the future of ISS if it were left without crew. A number of events could cause the International Space Station to lose altitude control. When there is a crew on board during those events, they run the procedures to re-establish control. This is not such a big deal. Without a crew, however, the antennas would quickly lose a signal lock with mission control, and the International Space Station computers would fail to receive commands from the flight controllers. The solar arrays would no longer point to the sun correctly, and the storage battery would run down. It would not be possible to safely attempt the docking with a tumbling station, so a new crew would not be able to get aboard to rectify things. The International Space Station would slowly lose altitude and re-enter the Earth's atmosphere in an uncontrolled manner. As a result, not only will we lose the $100 billion plus facility, large pieces would also survive the re-entry and could cause significant damage upon hitting the Earth. This sounds terrible, and it probably is, but lucky for us, it's not a problem just yet. Astronauts already in the station are not coming back for another 3 months, so we're not in crisis mode. But we need to find the solution for that quickly before the situation gets serious. The best solution under this situation, in my opinion, is that Roscosmos can quickly evaluate the safety of Soyuz rocket and fix the problem. But if this can't be done in time, I think the next alternative is to send a demonstration mission with an empty capsule. The capsule docked in the station right now is only certified for 200 days in space, by which time those astronauts will have to come back, which is January 2019. With a new capsule, however, astronauts will be able to stay for a longer time and wait for the problem to be fixed. The bottom line is, leaving the station without a crew would be an undesirable situation and should be avoided. Within the allowable time frame, I'm sure the engineers at Roscosmos and NASA is already working on it day and night to find the best solution. They have my trust. At the end of the day, I think this so-called launch failure is actually a testament to how robust our space program is. Being able to respond quickly, activate rescue protocol, and successfully demonstrate our capability in emergency situations is not an easy task. However, on the flip side, this also exposes an incredible vulnerability of our space program, especially the collective dependency on a single rocket, the Soyuz FG. We were too optimistic in the termination of the space shuttle program, which directly resulted in us not having any viable alternative to the Soyuz rocket in 2018. We have to reflect hard on that. However, this problem isn't going to last long. SpaceX Crew Dragon will be ready in June 2019, and with SpaceX Crew Dragon, Boeing's Starliner, and the Soyuz spacecraft, by the end of 2019, we'll have 3 very capable spacecraft ready for manned space missions to the International Space Station. So I look forward to that. One other thing I look forward to is to know more about our solar system with CuriosityStream. CuriosityStream is a subscription streaming service that offers over 2,000 documentaries, including exclusive originals from some of the world's best filmmakers. They have an entire section focused on space, so if you like this video, I'm sure you like their documentaries too. My recommendation for you today is this fantastic collection focused on exploring our solar system. From Pluto to the Moon, from Jupiter to Mars, they have it all. My buddy at CuriosityStream also offered you guys a 31-day free trial, so if you want to help this channel out, do sign up with the link in the description down below with the code curiouselephant. Once your free trial is up, they only charge $19.99 a year, which is $1.67 a month. So start binge watching and learning today with CuriosityStream.